So, I'm a YouTube guitar teacher, and what if I told you YouTube guitar lessons are keeping you stuck, and in some cases, making you worse? YouTube is filling your head with snake oil. Lessons that make ridiculous claims like, give me 5 minutes and I'll make you insanely good at guitar, or this 5-note pattern is all you need to play amazing guitar solos. Teachers that actually know better are blowing smoke up your ass, saying things like, you don't need to worry about playing through chord changes, or you don't need music theory. Well, let's get real and cut the bullshit. If guitar was that easy, everybody would be Eddie Van Halen by lunchtime. The truth, so much YouTube guitar teaching is treating you like you're stupid, and because it sounds easy, you're falling for it. Today, we're going to look at 5 used car salesmen with a guitar myths that are killing your progress. And I hope you don't get scared and click away, because I'm going to show you the way to actually get good. I'm serious. Don't click away. Keep watching. You might actually learn something. All right, it's time for some myth busting. In YouTube guitar snake oil bottle number 1, we have, here's the only pattern you need to play amazing solos. You've seen the videos. Somebody shows a little diagonal pentatonic pattern and acts like they've shown you the secrets of the universe. It's not. It's basic. Useful, yes, but it's a used car sales pitch because it's low effort. It'd be like a golf teacher saying, hey, just learn to make 3-foot putts and you'll be ready for the pro tour. I don't know, maybe golfers fall for that too. Here's the truth. Learning a 3-note or a 5-note pattern might help you navigate the neck, but it's not going to make you sound amazing. Years ago, I traded some emails with a Grammy Award-winning jazz saxophone player who'd also played with a couple little acts like Sting and the Grateful Dead. I asked him about his favorite scales and arpeggios, and he said, man, patterns aren't the answer. He explained to me that you should learn to turn patterns into music by studying the classic licks and solos of the masters. That's where you learn phrasing, timing, dynamics, all the things that give a pattern life. But also, don't stop at regurgitating licks like a parrot. You got to get to where you own them. And here's the process. Step 1, learn the lick. Learn where you put your fingers and the timing. Step 2, move it around. Move it to new keys. Play it over new chords. Play it in new positions. Step 3, change it up. Twist the rhythm. Add some notes. And my favorite, take part of it and combine it with a different lick. That's how licks become part of your DNA. Here's an example of one of my favorite licks ever from the outro solo of Rosanna by Steve Lukather. He rips this monster line over a G Boogie Woogie vamp. You're never going to sound like that with a little 5-note pattern. And why does it sound so good? Well, the rhythm's cool. He's playing these rolling triplets. The harmony, well, he touches on several triads, and there's a bunch that are available in that key. Luke likes to call them triad clusters. Over that G minor chord, we could play D minor, C, G minor, B flat, D minor, F, C again, and that brings us to G7. And the lick is modal. He sneaks an E natural in there a couple of times, which mixes G Dorian into the lick without just running some scale. It sounds so slick and organic. See, if you don't just learn a lick, but you actually learn to understand it, you can use it anywhere. I drop this lick in at blues jams. I can use it in jazzier tunes because it's got that little chromatic thing near the end. Or I might just take maybe the first half and blend it with a blues lick. Check this out. It always works great because I went the extra mile to really own the lick. If you actually want to get good, this is how you do it. Hey, I want to take the time to do a quick shout out to mattfig.com. Now, I'm a big user of IK Multimedia's Tonex, and I want to tell you to go check out Matt's Tonex captures. Not only do they sound great, But he really helped me out last week with great customer service after I screwed up my order. So go check out mattfig.com. Thanks, Matt. Now, to understand why typical YouTube videos are keeping you stuck, you need to understand a little bit about how people actually learn. Rick Beato recently interviewed Eric Gales. Now, there's a player, if you don't know him, you should. People love to call Eric a genius with God-given talent, but they don't really know what they're talking about. In the interview, Eric revealed his real secret: practice. As a kid, he practiced so obsessively, he didn't want to stop to eat, go to the bathroom. He was even afraid to go to sleep at night because he thought he might forget what he'd been working on. He just kept playing until he owned a concept. Meanwhile, I'm getting complaints in my comments because I expect people to learn all 5 pentatonic boxes or more than one triad shape. Ignoring all those hours that Eric Gales put in, it's not only disrespectful, it's delusional. Have a look at something called Bloom's taxonomy, which maps the stages of learning, and it's used to create educational curriculums. At the bottom of the pyramid is remembering, memorizing shapes. But at the top, we've got analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Most players are stuck in the remembering basement, chasing a quick dopamine hit from memorizing a new shape. But Eric Gales practiced until he reached the point of automaticity, the point where conscious thought disappears and playing becomes as natural as breathing. When you see him play, it looks effortless now because he put in all those hours years ago. So stop searching for 5-minute hacks. Real growth only happens outside your comfort zone. Otherwise, you'll just keep spinning your wheels. And the YouTube used car salesmen are more than happy to keep you there as long as you keep clicking on their videos. Okay, I'm off my soapbox and we're on to YouTube snake oil bottle number 2. You don't need to play through chord changes. And no, of course you don't. You also don't need to eat healthy, exercise, or take a shower now and then. And hell, while we're at it, let's throw the rules of grammar out the window and outlaw any math higher than addition and subtraction because dang it, it's just too hard. Why does it feel like ignorance is something that we celebrate these days? The used car salesman pitch for myth number 2 is usually something like, just use the pentatonic scale over this whole thing and feel it, man. They want you to believe that targeting chord tones is too academic and it's going to kill your soul. The truth of the matter is these teachers are afraid to tell you something you might have to work at because you might click away. So they treat you like a little baby and you reward them for it. And yes, this can work in really simple musical situations, but once you start getting into genres with any complexity, even pop and country music, the best players are negotiating the changes. For instance, how about the great Gary Moore and his classic, Still Got the Blues? People love Gary and they love to talk about his passion and his fire. But that iconic melody, it's not one simple pattern. It's a series of phrases designed to land perfectly on the chord changes. Listen to this. We've got D minor to G7. We've got C major 7 to F major 7. And then we've got B minor 7 flat 5, E7 to A minor. The progression, it starts off in C major but ends up with a 2-5-1 in A harmonic minor. Try playing A pentatonic over that whole thing. See how it sounds. And then there's his outro solo, which is pure fire, but it still follows the chord changes. See, when you ignore the chord changes, you're not being soulful, you're literally being ignorant. You're ignoring the harmony of a song rather than becoming one with it. If you don't believe me, try this. Here's a progression full of secondary dominants. C to E7 to A minor to C7 to F to D7 to G to G7, and then we'll be back to C. Play your little one-size-fits-all pattern over that and tell me it sounds good. It won't. You're going to sound like you're lost because you are. But you don't have to stay lost. You can learn to target chord tones and use a little basic voice leading to play something like this. Now, it's your choice, of course, but it's just not that hard to put in the work to become a little more schooled and melodic. But so many teachers out there, they're counting on you staying stuck and afraid. Now, this brings us to YouTube snake oil bottles number 3 and 4. Number 3 is the scale robot, and number 4 is the anti-theory cult. I'm putting these together because they're kind of a 2-for-1 scam that are different sides of the same coin. On one side, you've got teachers that have you memorize scale patterns, but they leave you hanging with no idea on how to turn them into music. On the other side, you've got teachers that tell you, hey, you don't need theory, just use tabs, even though you'll never know what you're actually doing. Both of these teachers have a vested interest in keeping you in the dark. If they actually taught you usable music theory, like how to harmonize the major scale or the sound and function of the intervals in the scale, everything about playing guitar would become so much easier for you. But if they did that, you wouldn't need to buy their 10 secret ways to sound amazing without knowing anything course next week. Think about it. The scale robot teacher wants you to treat playing guitar like typing on a typewriter, just hitting keys in a sequence. But if you just run sequences without crafting licks and phrases that are full of tension and resolution, you might be technically playing the right notes, but you're not saying anything. Let's take that Still Got the Blues progression again. Going chord by chord, I'm going to play the correct scale over each one. Now, you be the judge. That sounds nothing like a guitar solo, right? If you play like that, even knowing all those scales, you're still at the bottom of the learning pyramid, remembering shapes but not understanding the language. And the anti-theory teachers, they're even worse because they're so cynical. They most likely understand theory and use it all the time. But they do their best to convince you that being a little schooled isn't necessary because they know you're afraid of theory. So they make up some bullshit like learning theory takes away your feel and your soul. Well, tell that to a master musician like Stevie Wonder. Tell it to Larry Carlton, or George Benson, or Steve Vai, or Eric Johnson, or Brian May, or even country players like Brad Paisley and Brent Mason. Useful music theory, it's like a GPS system that tells you where you are now so you can choose where you want to go. Even if you just want to play the blues, it'll help you so much to know that over a dominant chord, you don't have to stick to just the minor pentatonic. For instance, just adding in the 6th and the 9th takes you from sounding like Albert King to Albert Collins. Then you take the 6th and the 9th and you throw in the major 3rd with the minor 3rd, you get the sweet, sophisticated sound of a B.B. King. Knowing how those intervals sound and function, it lets you bypass trial and error, and it lets you go straight to creating. You're not guessing anymore. But the used car salesman, they want you to stay lost in the dark woods because they're the ones selling the flashlights. And they know that if you had the map and understood how harmony actually works, their clicks would disappear. Now this brings us to our final bottle of snake oil, good old recipe number 5, the instant mastery illusion. Now this is a big lie that ties all the other ones together. It's the promise that mastery is something you can achieve in a weekend if you just get the right hack. It's videos with titles like, "Give me 5 minutes and I'll make you insanely good at guitar." It's the stupid notion that if you can play a scale 4 metronome clicks faster, it makes your playing infinitely cooler. If you've heard anything I've said today, you know that's a lie. Real skill, the kind that Eric Gales has, the kind that lets you play through changes with authority and soul, that's a result of desirable, difficulty. It's the result of being willing to be bad at something and stay bad at it until your brain finally builds those neural pathways. The used car salesmen are selling you shortcuts to a destination that doesn't exist. Learning a 3 or 5 note pattern, it doesn't make you a player. Playing scales slightly faster doesn't mean you're a better musician. So here's my challenge to you. Stop being a scared little baby. Start being a real student with enthusiasm and curiosity and a can-do attitude. Pick one thing, one interval, one lick, one chord progression. And don't just memorize it, conquer it. Stay in that practice chair until it's part of your DNA. Skip the next 5-minute video and go spend an hour doing something that makes your head hurt. That's where the growth is. And on my end, I promise to keep making videos that actually treat you like an adult. Thanks for watching as always. I'll see you in the next lesson.